Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans, and we have our Week 8 preview coming right up. We got 4 games this week, the usual 4, but it wasn't too long ago we had a 3-game week in Week 6, so still with the 4 games this week. Got some interesting matchups coming on, got some injuries, got some news, all sorts of stuff, and this is being recorded at 1:42 a.m. Central Time, which is 2:42 a.m. Rick's time. So, Rick, an absolute trooper for doing the video at this time. I appreciate you, Rick, being available, as I had a bunch of stuff that really pushed a lot later than expected. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I believe we've earned it by recording this late. And if you guys are listening on Spotify, make sure you guys give us 5 stars. Good portion of our viewer base is not subscribed, so if you guys could change that, we'd really appreciate it. So, Rick, shall we get into the first one?
We shall. Oh, by the way, the first one I sent you, depth charts.
You sent me the depth charts, yes. This is for the Montreal-Calgary game. Is there an Alouettes depth chart? I see you sent me an injury report.
Oh, my bad. Let me go ahead and resend it. Oh, oops. Let's try this again. There we go.
Lovely. So, but I think we probably should start with an injury report. Let's start with the Alouettes, as they're the away team.
Okay, so Davis Alexander, quarterback hamstring out. Lorenzo
and he is
Burns,
ruled out
DB.
for this game.
Yes. Lorenzo Burns, DB shoulder, full, available. Hogan Sandon, offensive line, knee, out, even though he was full all practice. Dylan Wynn, DL, foot, limited all week, out. Tyson Philpott, wide receiver, hamstring, did not practice all week, out. James Morgan, quarterback, back, full all week, available. Mustafa Johnson, DL, knee, limited all week, out. James Letcher Jr., wide receiver, hands, did not practice all week, out. Josh Archibald, defensive line, Adjuker, whatever that injury is, did not practice, or nothing listed on Sunday, limited, did not practice, out. KD Davis, linebacker, illness, nothing listed Sunday, did not practice Monday and Tuesday, out. Nate Boscheman, DB, illness, did not practice, available. Odd. Najee Murray, DB, hamstring, limited, questionable. So you have one person who had nothing listed Sunday, Monday, but did not practice and is available. Then you had someone that was full practice all week, but out, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And of course, the big thing being Davis Alexander, he's not playing.
Nah.
You're going to have Bethel Thompson this game.
Yeah.
So, with that, we should then head
Calgary
over
side.
to the Stampeder side of things.
Our good friend and yours and scrub kick person, Justin Antwi, running back, ankle, full, Monday and Tuesday, available. Kalichi and Achabachi, linebacker, foot, did not practice, questionable. Clark Burns, wide receiver, ankle, did not practice, out. Iniko Benjamin, running back, load management, full, available. Josiah Coatney, D-line, load management, full, available. Aaron Crawford, knee, limited, out. Malik Henry, wide receiver, knee, limited, out. Justin Herdman Reed, linebacker, neck, limited, questionable. Ben Labrosi, DB hamstring full available. William Laglius, fullback load management full available. Josh Love, linebacker load management full available. Tyler Richardson, DB groin, did not practice both days out. Jackson Sobach, DB hamstring, did not practice out. And then Quincy Vaughn, DB foot limited, did not practice, questionable. And that's your injury reports.
And that is the injury report. So, Rick, where do you want to start with this one for the Alouettes Stampeders? Because I think there's kind of a few things of note. Firstly, one of the big elephants in the room, Calgary is red hot right now. I mean, 2 wins against Winnipeg. Actually, not even just 2 wins against Winnipeg. 2 pretty commanding wins against Winnipeg. And then a win against Saskatchewan to really kind of soar to the top of the West. And the defense, the offense, everything's just kind of been running on on 4 cylinders, on, you know, all hands on deck, very much so for Calgary. For Montreal, started the season very much hot, but have had more mixed results since then. So, where are you kind of standing with this?
I mean, when you have McLeod Bethel Thompson as quarterback, your team ain't going nowhere. Like, let's be honest.
It is hard to do that, because the thing is that Montreal is a team that very much for their offense relies a lot on their receiver core. They're not a team that is very much like Winnipeg has done very well with a receiver core in the past, but that running game, that Brady Oliveira was kind of your bread and butter there. And there are other teams that have relied a lot less on just a running back or just a receiving core. The downside of, again, of relying so much on your receiver core is if you got your second string quarterback throwing to him, even if you got the greatest receiver in the world, it's not always gonna matter in that sense, in a strange way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I'm a little questionable about how I feel Bethel Thompson starting, especially since if we look on the other side of things, if we look at the, if I can pull it up here, the Stampeders, Vernon Adams, it's funny, he went a few weeks without getting a touchdown pass, and then he started throwing for a ton of them. Because if we go back to week 5, this would be the Stampede Bowl, and we look at VA. VA throws 222 yards passing, 13 for 18, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, with his longest being a 68-yard pass. Does very well. Could have done better, but he really didn't need to, in the sense of that the Bombers were so problematic themselves and the defense was playing really well, and the defense for Calgary was scoring. It didn't really matter. If we look at Calgary versus Saskatchewan, 428 passing yards, 28 for 36, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 11.9 average, with his longest pass being 81 yards. Then we look at last week, where they beat Winnipeg 41-20. And we look at Vernon Adams Jr. stats again. 267 passing yards, 16 for 24. Not as good of a completion percentage, not as good of a yardage percentage, but still 42-yard passes the longest, an average of 11.1, so still above 10. 3 touchdown passes, 1 interception. And they beat Winnipeg, and they made it look relatively easy doing it, as it was a close game, but Calgary was still leading for the first half. And then the second half, the Bombers just were an utter disaster. And Calgary just really capitalized on absolutely everything, including one where they had a pick six that was just so close in, where he just jumps right in front of it. And it's one of those things where he just read the play perfectly. So I think one of the things to me that seems to be really key is Calgary. Calgary knows how to watch film and be ready and be well prepared for these games. So if they continue to do that with the Alouettes here, that could be a serious issue, as they figured out exactly how to exploit Winnipeg, and they figured out pretty well on how to exploit the Riders, but more so the Bombers. If they figure this out against Montreal, then it's game over. And again, I don't know what team's gonna get. The red hot Calgary Stampeders don't look like they're losing. They just don't. I have not seen any signs of their success that they're getting starting to wane yet. I don't think we're there. So
You know what kills me about this Montreal team
what?
is you have number 88 Victor, which I get he's filling in for Letcher as returner.
Yep.
You have Kai Basu, receiver number 3 ahead of Speaker. And then you have 83 on the other side. Aldijo. You know who's missing on this team?
Who?
Tell me how number 13 Alexander Hollins is not starting or in the lineup for Montreal.
Yeah, it kind of baffles me that he doesn't make it anywhere in there. Like
how is he still on their practice roster?
Yeah, so he's not even listed as a backup. He's on the practice roster.
Yeah.
Because if I'm looking,
is he actually going to even play this year, or are they just saving him so that? Because you would have thought, okay, Phil Pont's
surely
down, you would have thought he would have.
Surely he's over like Victor.
Or Kaibasu, anyways.
Yeah.
You can't tell me any of those 3 receivers he's not better of. I thought with Mac being out, he would have filled in for Mac. No. He would have filled in for Philpott. No. I'm like, what are these people thinking? Like, they're just wasting talent.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of remember a similar thing with Winnipeg years ago where Carlton Agudosi came in, and Agudosi had a fantastic game. And then guys came off injury, and we just sent him back down to the minors, or to the practice roster, in which Toronto then picked him up, because of course they did. Played him for 1 game, and he played really well there, and then was thrown back at the practice roster. So it was like both teams clearly saw his talent. And when I say that he had good numbers, I don't mean that he was average. He was actually above average. It was one of those things where he was like a top 2-3 receiver in the games he played for both Winnipeg and Toronto.
Yeah, but the difference is we're talking this guy was a top receiver for like the last 5 years, a few years
ago. I know. I'm just talking about the practice of seeing talent and then not continuing to use it for seemingly no reason. But yeah, no, Alexander Hollins was a guy that, like, over in BC, he was playing all the time. And it's not like he was necessarily your number
Edmonton
1, but he was
using him.
Yeah, no, I don't get it.
There has to be something that we're not seeing.
I got to imagine. I guess maybe his performance in practice is really just being subpar. Sometimes that's what you get. So here's my question then, Rick. All things considered.
Well, before I answer your question, should we go check out the pick'ems?
Yes, we should. Thank you for reminding me of that.
So we are gonna change things up this year, or this week. Instead of having 5 pick'ems, we are also gonna include the French, because why wouldn't we include the 4 French pick'ems?
I didn't know there were some.
Yeah, so there's
Does the CFL post them, or where are they posted?
They are posted. So I will give me a second.
Is there like a French CFL page that posts them, or?
So there's the French. Here's the English.
So is this on
This was on the
French CFL page?
No, I think
like
it's the CFL
or LCF, one? I guess technically LCF.
I don't know. I found them on somewhere. I think it's the CFL. or LCF. I don't know what. I just found them somewhere and I posted them in our Peckham group, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna include them in tonight's video.
Yeah, I don't know where you found those, but that's cool.
Anyways, so across all 9, you have 5 English, 5 French. 8 out of the 9 are going with Calgary.
Yeah. And
I'm going with Calgary.
I was about to say, I trust me, I've learned my lesson to not bet against Calgary right now. As a fan of the Bombers, this team's a real deal. This Calgary team, they at some point may that momentum slow, maybe, probably, not yet though. We're not at that point, so I got to go with Calgary. So, shall we get into the next one, Rick?
The next game that we're going to be getting into is going to be a game that you're going to be watching.
Game
closely.
Game I will be paying attention to. Yeah, as the Edmonton Elks take on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Yes, in which case the day at which I am an Elks fan, where Saskatchewan's been doing very well recently. They had that loss to Calgary, not last week, but the other week. But they beat BC. It was in a bit of a close game, but a win's a win. Just last week. And Edmonton got a single win at home before, and it's just they're kind of back to struggling.
Hasn't been the same since.
So, shall we get to the injury report for the Edmonton Elks?
We will start with the Elks. Devodrick, Bynum, DB chest, did not practice all week, out. Jake Serezna, D-line knee, limited, full, available. So he'll be back. Tanner Green, fullback, back. Did not practice, limited, questionable. Mayuga Clements, linebacker knee, did not practice all week, out. And Roy Metier, DB ankle, did not practice all week, out. So we are going to go out over to the Saskatchewan side. Super Mario, wide receiver hip, did not practice, out. Sean Bain Jr., wide receiver knee, full all week, out. Kadeem Carey has been placed on the injured list. He's done for the season with a knee injury. He's out. Jack Cohen, QB hand, full all week, available. Peyton Collins, offensive line, knee, full all week, out. Jack Fry, head, limited, out. Daniel Johnson, offensive line, shoulder, did not practice all week, out. Koshi Anyaka, DB, knee, available. Mitch Picton, wide receiver, load management, full all week, available. Aaron Patrick, defensive line, load management, full all week, available. And Jameer Thurman, defensive line, toe, limited, full, available.
And over on the Saskatchewan side of things, do you have the Saskatchewan side of things, Rick?
I just read them.
Oh, sorry. You'd read the Elks one?
Yes, I did.
Sorry,
Elks
I had
was only
missed
like
that.
4.
Ah, I see. Sorry, I got confused. So, then, and because I do have a question, because one thing we had chatted about a while ago is the obviously, so Schaefer Baker gets injured near the start of the season. He's kind of been out ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know, like, how long is this going on? Like, do we still have any idea when he might be back, or is he just on the 6th game indefinitely?
He was placed on the 6th game.
Like, how long ago was he placed on that 6th game though? Because he's been out for a bit. So
give me 1 second. Let me check at their transactions. So he's been out. He's been out since June 13th.
And what was our last kind of update on him? Not just like in terms of healthy versus not healthy, but in terms of anything regarding a timeline. Because it's been a while.
So let me just check their schedule. Because that was June 13th. June 13th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you don't include the bye week, because I don't know if bye weeks are included, he's only missed what, 1, 2, 3, 4 games. So this would be game 5. So you're ideally looking at August 16th. Week 11. Potentially.
But again, like
if you don't include bye weeks.
But we haven't actually gotten a update on.
If you include bye weeks, then he'll be back next week against Montreal.
But when was the last update we got on him?
I haven't heard anything.
Because I'll put it this way, even though that may have been kind of what we were thinking originally, if we haven't heard a peep, I have my doubts about saying he'll be ready even next week. Because if he was going to be ready next week, we probably would have heard something regarding his status.
I mean, MLS just came back. I think Bain Jr. will be back before Keon Schaefer-Baker.
Probably.
Because Bain Jr. was full all week.
Yeah.
But it's weird because like Saskatchewan hasn't really had, and I'll be honest, very good receivers.
Well, it's funny this year they've actually been able to utilize AJ Ouellette, I think, a lot more than prior years. Because prior years,
no, but I mean, if you think about it, so you have Duncan Busby. MLS was injured, so he just came back last week.
Yeah.
So I'm not even gonna include MLS right now. So you have Duncan Busby, Johnson, McRae, Myers, Neild, and Robicelli. Like, at what point do you call those like all-star receivers? There's like, I mean, okay, you could say Keyshawn Johnson or Myers was a top receiver, but you don't have.
I'd say in individual games they have been. I don't know if I'd say overall.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is like they're no Nick Dembski, they're not no Kenny Lawler, like they're
not a consistent. They don't have the consistency of a star receiver.
On most teams, I would say they're more like 3 WR3.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how they're winning games with that kind of receiving core or receiving group, I should say.
Well, I'll put it this way: if you got 4 guys that occasionally each have a game where they kind of pop off, I guess that's enough.
I suppose.
And again, I don't think they've had to rely as much on it. I think the defense has done very well for them, and I think also the running game has been more reliable, like compared to prior years for Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the Edmondson side of things, I don't know, man. They got last week off, which they're appreciating after they got smacked around by BC in week 6. A 32-14 loss, bad one. And this was a follow-up after their first win of the season and a win at home against Ottawa. And then they just completely kind of laid a bit of a goose egg the following week. They've had a week to reflect on that, a week to watch some film on Saskatchewan. And going into this game, there are all the questions. Is it Trey Ford or is it Cody Fajardo? Which one is it, Rick?
So they're gonna be how do I put this? So Killam has been playing both with splitting reps all week.
I've heard this.
And no one will know until the depth charts come out later today. Or as in your view, tomorrow. In my view, later today.
Fair enough.
So, my head says Fajardo. My heart says that they don't give a shit and that they're going to still play Trey Ford.
I really have no idea.
And I'm going to say something, people aren't going to like it, but it is what it is.
Uh-oh.
So, I was reading stuff about Ottawa. I know we're talking about Saskatchewan and Edmonton. I'll get to my point in a second.
Okay.
So, Ottawa's 1-6. We all thought, okay, Bob Dice, this is going to be their bye week. Bob Dice is going to get canned. You know what I heard today? They're keeping Bob Dice and that he's their leader. So,
yep, I think I saw that same post.
They're going to keep on going down the toilet. Fans aren't going to give a shit. They're going to stop going to games. And they're going to be losing the attendance.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain stubbornness to CFL teams. There certainly is.
No, but I mean, if you're 1-6, Carter, they went from averaging like 20 to 22. When I was at the game on Sunday, they only had 17. And of those 17, how many were actually, I'd say probably a good couple of hundred were Ticat fans anyways.
Yeah.
Then
I mean, there's a stubbornness in this league in the sense of, I mean, kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, even about players that have put up a good performance, but because they're not seen as, they haven't yet been a regular in the CFL, they're not given as much of a shot. So
no, but I mean at the same time, if this was the Bombers and they're 1-6, would you blame fans for not going?
Would I blame fans for not going?
Yeah, if you had Fajardo and Ford as your
That's not a problem I'm used to, Rick. I'm sorry.
No, I know. I get that. But that's my point is until...
I would understand the frustration.
Yeah, so I mean, Edmonton's going to be the West version of Ottawa. And until they stop this whole...
Well, it's funny because do you know what this goes... You know what this goes towards? When the performance of the team drastically affects the attendance? You know what this shows, Rick? This shows how important season tickets are. Having people committed the entire year.
It's not even that. It's how much more are you going to put into Trey Ford?
Because, again, it's one of those things, I think one of the things people have been asking for is give Trey Ford a year. And at that point, this or that. I mean, but then here's the question, though. He's been given a good amount. Cody Fajardo, it's not like he had last year was a shadow of himself and was terrible. He wasn't. He was a starting quarterback in the league and a solid one. So you have a good kind of outlet option if you want to try something else. And I don't.
So here's my
I'm starting to lose a bit of faith in Trey Ford. Like, it's one of those things. He knows how to run. His movement is good, but the amount of overthrows, he's gotta get that under control.
It's not even that. It's when they re-signed Trey Ford to that new deal that they signed him for. I would have to look it up. They just handed him the keys. What they should have done was, okay, we're going to sign you to this deal, but you have to earn it in training camp and have quarterback battles. They just basically said, you're the number one and screw Fajardo. And now Fajardo's like, ha ha, you guys gave him the keys and now the team's garbage.
Yeah.
Why don't you give me the keys and I can somewhat save this franchise? Kind of.
Yeah, although I will say credit to Cody Fajardo. He's never, when in all the games he's backed up Trey Ford, as much as obviously I think as a football player, he's always had that itch to be on the field. He's never kind of come in and be like on the bench being like, oh, I should be playing this game. I shouldn't or whatever. No offense, that's not something I can say about Trey Ford. There were times where it kind of seemed like he was a little kind of pouty because he wasn't just given the spot and that the team wasn't sure whether to go with him or go with Bethel Thompson. Not going to lie, Trey Ford, it is your job to make it blatantly obvious to management that you are the guy to go with. And I know there's been games where it's seemed really obvious, but we've seen some games where it really hasn't been. And so I'm saying, Rick, you are the coach of the Edmonton Elks. Who are you dressing?
Yes. I'm going with Fajardo. Because, I mean,
Same.
There's no way in hell after last week's...
With the attendance being where it is, with this new ownership and having a goal and looking for direction, the number one goal has to be we need to get wins. And no offense, if you're not going to be able to get it done, then we'll find someone who will.
You know what this kind of reminds me of?
What?
This kind of reminds me of the BC, Adams, and Rourke all over again. Like the locker rooms. You know.
Yeah, although I'd say this reminds me more of the Edmonton with Bethel Thompson situation, except I have more faith in Fajardo than I do Bethel Thompson.
Well, yeah, it's just... I don't know. After last week's 34-yard performance, 4 for 12, like... What more do you need to see out of Vernon or Trey Ford before you tell Fajardo to go ahead? Because you know what's really gonna suck?
What?
Is if they've invested all this money and they put Cody Fajardo in, and mysteriously some miracle happens, and Fajardo goes on a run. Then they're really going to look like retards that they gave Trey Ford all that money and he hasn't done anything.
Or they'll finally have made their mind up that Trey Ford's not the man.
That too.
I know why he's so appealing. Because in a league that is full of old quarterbacks and a lot of them are going to be retiring soon. Cody Fajardo's not going to be in the league that much longer. Bethel Thompson won't be. Bo Levi Mitchell probably in the next 5 years. Caleros, Trevor Harris, all those quarterbacks in the next 5 years, gone. Hell, I don't even know how long Vernon Adams Jr. is going to be in because I don't know how old he is. But
I mean, Fajardo's only 33.
You think he's going to play till he's 38? I don't think so.
I would say 37 anyways.
But I'd say in the next 5 years, he's gone.
And Vernon Adams is 32.
Yeah, so Vernon Adams is a maybe, but the rest of them, they'll be gone in the next 5 years.
That's
a lot of quarterbacks, and so there's going to be a big change of quarterbacks in the coming years in the CFL.
I would say at least 3 of them, Harris, Caleros, and Mitchell, are gone within the next 2.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all 35 plus.
So I guess, but because we should keep this moving then. I guess long story short then. So we're both taking Saskatchewan here, right? Like,
I'm taking Saskatchewan. So the funny thing is, out of all 9 Pick'em people, only Matt Cause took Edmonton. But I'd like to know what Matt Cause is smoking to take Edmonton.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Whatever it is, it's probably strong.
Some strong ass shit.
It's like the Vince
Anyways,
McMahon meme.
on
That's
to
some
the
good
next game,
shit.
shall we?
On to the next one. Absolutely.
So,
Which
funny thing
is,
is, we were talking about this earlier. You're going to be working this game. I'm going to be at this game. So,
yeah,
I will be able to see this live and see if your team can bounce back in the Grey Cup rematch against Toronto.
yeah. Well, Grey Cup rematch. Yeah, well. Because we got the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who have been on a pretty bad skid. Now, to be fair, the skid has at least been to just one team, Calgary. But again, I think the frustrating thing is not that they lost; it's how they lost. And so Winnipeg's going to be definitely looking to kind of get back on it. But again, for everyone sounding the alarms, again, this team was like 1-6 or 2-6, whatever it was to start last year. And then they finished at the top of the West, and they went to the Grey Cup. Obviously, they didn't win it in the Grey Cup because, I'd be jumping for joy right now, but that's not the situation. They lost to the Toronto Argonauts. Now, if you've seen anything of the Toronto Argonauts this year, you would know that this team is kind of a shell of themselves. This Argos team has fallen off. But they have had some games that are close. Winnipeg is notoriously not actually done very well when they're playing against Toronto in Toronto. So I think if you're Winnipeg, we got to put that to rest, because I can still remember last year, Nick Dembski, in my opinion, being interfered with by the defender, but that wasn't called. And however, he's got the ball and he's playing fucking hot potato on his own 10-yard line. And that ended up in the back of our end zone. So let's have a better game than that.
One thing that I will say before I get to the injuries. Last year, you guys somewhat had Dalton Schoen. He's injured. You guys had Kenny Lawler.
Of course he is.
He's not there. Tyrell Ford, you guys had last year. He's not there. Brandon Alexander, you guys had last year. He's not there. So, I mean, there are some changes that were on the team that are not now.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, with all the changes that Toronto's had, you never know.
Injury report.
So, with the Winnipeg BBs, we have Peyton Logan, running back, thigh, did not practice Tuesday and Wednesday. There's still one more day. Chances are he probably won't play.
When the fuck is Peyton Logan going to be ready?
Zach Claris, quarterback, neck, full. He's playing Saturday. Mike Benson, long snap, hip, did not practice both days. Stanley Bryant, offensive line, ankle, did not practice, so he's most likely not playing. Eric Lofton, knee, full both days. Jamal Woods, defensive line, knee, full both days. Trey Vaville, or as Carter would say,
Vavel.
Trey Gravel.
No, it's
Vavel.
Trey Vavel, and the way you remember is because he likes to ride dirt bikes and he drives the dirt bikes on gravel.
So DB, neck, full both practices. Tanner Schmeckel, defensive line, non-injury related, full both days. Dylan Mitchell, waste of talent on your team because he still hasn't played a game yet. Wide receiver, non-injury related, full. And Jonathan Jones, linebacker, non-football related, full.
I would like to believe that this team would remove its head from its own ass and decide to start finally playing some football. You're not playing against Red Hot Calgary, because we already lost those games to them. We're playing against Toronto, which last week had a good lead and then absolutely blew it to the Alouettes. So,
So
Winnipeg.
Carter's going to like this next thing because it's going to be music to his ears.
Okay, let's hear it.
Jake Kazar,
Mm-hmm.
Linebacker, abductor, limited. So chances are he's not playing. I mean, they
I'm not
still
gonna
have
say that
Thursday,
injuries are
so
music to my ears, but
hold on. Darius Sirocco, offensive line, foot, limited. They said that he wouldn't be playing this week. Brian Cox Jr., defensive line Achilles, did not practice both days. Chances are he's not playing. Uh, Amin Danquan, he was offensive line knee. He was just placed on the 6th game, so he's not playing. Sage Dextator, offensive line knee, limited, did not practice, so he's not playing. Cedric Hansen, DB elbow, he was just placed on the 6th game today, so he's not playing. Brian Hermalian, Hermalia, linebacker, hamstring, full. Tyson Hergott, defensive linebacker, did not practice all week. Chad Kelly, quarterback, leg, limited, did not practice. He's not playing this week. Anthony Lanier, defensive line, hip, did not practice all week. Dante Makmahan, running back, ankle, limited, full. He could possibly play this week. Winton McManus, linebacker, knee, did not practice, limited. And then Ryder Varga, linebacker, head, limited and full.
so then for me, I'm you know what? I think this is the time for Winnipeg to really bounce back from those two games they had against Calgary. I think Toronto has had their own struggles this year, which is kind of, I guess, an ideal opponent for Winnipeg, unless you lose this game. If you lose this game, Winnipeg, oh boy. But this is kind of an ideal game to have, get some confidence back. As the Bombers, they need to get going again. They need to get back to where they can be, and the expectations that I think would be outlined by Coach O'Shea. As there were some people that I did see after last game potentially calling for O'Shea's head, to which I would then say,
Okay.
the hell are you smoking? If you think
The good shit.
O'Shea's like this team would not be anywhere near where it is without him. O'Shea is an essential part of this team. Just no. So, but I don't know. The Bombers, they got to figure out. They got to get going. But I believe they will. So I'm going to Winnipeg this game.
So the interesting thing is Zach Claris versus Nick Arbuckle, the top 2 interception throwers in the league this year.
That checks out.
Keep in mind, Arbuckle's been sacked the most times.
Yeah.
So, before I give you my pick, we are going to go with the Pick'em people. So across all 9, we have 7 that say Winnipeg and 2 that say Toronto. I'm going with Winnipeg.
You're going Winnipeg. I am going Winnipeg as well. So we got one more game then.
Yes.
As we have the Hamilton Tiger Cats taking on the BC Lions. Let's get into the Ticats injury report.
So they've only had 1 day of practice, so I wouldn't read much into their injury report. I'll be at practice later on today and on Friday. Isaiah Bagnot, defensive line, foot, did not practice. Daniel Bell, fullback, elbow, did not practice. Brendan Bordner, offensive line, load management, full. He's going to be stepping in for Jordan Murray this week. Greg Bell, running back, ribs, limited. He's just coming back from injury, so they're easing him in. So both him and Johnny Augustine got reps today. We'll see what later on today brings. Lou Brubaker, he's still on the 6th game. Defense line, shoulder, did not practice. Tyjon Garbut, defensive line, knee, did not practice. Antoine Miletovich Litre, fullback, hamstring, did not practice. Jordan Murray, offensive line, knee, did not practice. Robert Pannerbaker, defensive back, hamstring, did not practice. Quintavian White, DB, load management full. Drew Wolotarski, hamstring limited. And Lawrence Wood III, shoulder, did not practice. Are we ready for the BC side?
On the BC side of things, Rick?
On the BC side, we have Stanley Berryhill III, wide receiver, non-football related, limited. Javion Catoy, shoulder, full. Tybo DeBelly, DL, ankle, full. Jalen Edwards-Cooper, DB, knee, limited. Dwayne Hendricks, thigh, DL, full. Xander Horvat, running back, hand, full. Ronald Kent Jr., DB, knee, did not practice. Jermaine Jackson, wrist, full. Tomashi La Ulili, DL, knee, limited. Oh my God. Listen to this. They have Justin McInnes listed as a quarterback, thigh, and limited. Marcus Moore, DB, or DL, sorry, elbow, full. Nathan Rourke, core, limited. And Kimoko Toure, DL, neck, limited.
The quarterback that is Justin McInnes.
Like I said, both teams still have 2 days of practice. I'm sure Saturday the Ticats will have like morning walkthrough, and then they'll hop on the plane.
Yep.
So the interesting thing is, you have Bo Levi Mitchell, who leads the team leads the league in yards at 1,812 yards, 66.2% completion rating, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Then you have Nathan Rourke, who's 5th in yards with 1,607, 67.1 pass completion rating, 10 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
James Butler leads the league in rushing yards, and he has 3 touchdowns. And then it's going to be interesting to see how they stop Kenny Lawler.
Yeah. Well, this has been a problem for teams. You put him in double coverage, he finds a way around.
I mean, it's not even double coverage. You just put someone on him, and it's like, I'm actually curious. I'm going to go look at their depth chart from last week.
There as in like Hamilton's?
No, as in BC's. Because I want to see. So they're going to have Gary Peters on Kenny Lawler.
Okay.
Who's Carter Jr. and what's his experience? Robert Carter Jr., he's 22. He just signed May of this year, so he's a rookie. Oh, this is going to be so interesting. Because on one side you have Gary Peters, who's a vet. But then on the other side, you have Carter Jr., who's a rookie.
Yeah.
And you want to hear something interesting? So I was looking at numbers today. And did you know that across the defensive back for Hamilton, we have 5, 7, 9. Wait, is that all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4. Who am I missing? Peters, Cachatonis, Talbert, Moxie, and Amos. So we have 9. And I know Amos, where the heck is he? So 5, 6, so 7, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. So we have 11 interceptions this season just from our secondary. I'm sorry, 10, because you don't care Verisek. He's a linebacker. So 10 interceptions in 6 games from our secondaries.
Jeez.
It would not surprise me if we had like 2 or 3 this week.
So, I guess like in general, where are we feeling about this? Because for me, like BC certainly had a better game last week than some of the other performances I've seen out of them. I'd say this game, what?
But they still lost.
Well, that's just Saskatchewan, to be fair, though. And Saskatchewan's been doing well, but they certainly had a better performance. So
and this is the first time they're playing an East team.
And I guess so. And then with Hamilton with a pretty good win over Ottawa, with Kenny Lawler kind of being your star of these past few games against them, and then also some other games. But I guess the question is a few things. One, can that secondary stop Kenny Lawler, because this is an issue. And then secondly, is BC able to kind of build off some of the momentum they got last week and translate that into a win this week?
Edmonton, Winnipeg.
So to be honest, whenever you're ready, Rick, I'm ready to give my prediction.
They played Montreal and they only won by 1. So this is the second East team.
So to be honest, Rick, I'm ready to give my prediction if you are.
Okay. So before you do, so we have Niall, Cause, Constable, and Hall, and Felix Galley all saying Hamilton, Steinberg, and then Bolduc, Borbanis, and Legot, all saying BC. So you have 5-4 in favor of Hamilton. So
pretty even split, which is kind of what I expected. I expected that this game would probably have the closest predictions, even in our pick'ems that we're in, Rick. I think this will be the closest one.
The interesting thing for this is BC opened the week as a minus 3.5 spread, and everyone's shocked that they're listed as the favorites instead of the underdogs.
Yeah, I'm not sure. As I'm going Hamilton as well. So we're going to have the exact same predictions this week. So
we're either going to sink and swim for our pick'ems, my friend.
Yeah, hopefully we swim together, my friend, because then that means
I swam last week. I swam with the Sharks 4-0.
Well, hopefully we're both swimming this week, because that'll mean my Bombers will get a win instead of the crap they've been showing.
It's funny because I was talking in the group earlier, and Brian's like, "You're coming for me." I'm like, "No, I'm coming for Carter, because I'm not behind him by much."
How much are you behind me by, like points wise?
I'm behind you by,
because I'm behind Brian by just 2 points. So just one game.
If I look at the standings,
because I think you're behind me by a little more than that, but I don't think it's quite that much.
I mean, I'm only behind you by 8. I can make that. Well, since we have the same picks, we won't be making it up this week, but still. All I need is you to have a crappy week and me to have a good week.
You need me to completely just shit the bed one of these weeks, which is entirely possible. I've certainly done it.
To go for 4-0 and get the bonus picks.
Yeah. Bonus points would be nice, but I think that's all I have. Is there anything else you got there, Rick? Or
so this is going to be the first game I do this year over on the Hamilton Sports Central channel. I'm going to be live streaming a watch along on Sunday evening.
Ooh. So what you're saying is the people tune in.
Yes. And I'm going to try a little bit something different this week. Instead of using the normal OBS, I'm going to be using Streamlabs. Or StreamYard, sorry. And there's going to be different ways that I'm going to be trying it out. But
I've heard some
we're going to
people
see
use
how
that.
it
I use
works.
Streamlabs, but it works well for me. But I know some people do that. So we're recording this right now on Streamlabs. It works well. So,
But we shall see how she shores.
So, yeah. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys leave a like, share it around, and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, majority of viewers aren't subscribed, so make sure you become a part of the ones that are. I kind of stumbled over my words, but that's fine. And for those listening on Spotify, make sure you guys leave us 5 stars. We very much appreciate all the support that you guys give. And peace, love, and positivity, all you wonderful people at home. And we will see you guys next time.